Hello and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be sharing my low buy update for the month of February. I have to say it feels very trivial to be talking about something as silly as my budget at a time like this. For those of you who aren't in Australia, then you may not know that we're currently experiencing a once in 1,000 year flooding event, which has just caused devastation and displaced, last that I read, was 500,000 people in New South Wales alone. That doesn't even take into consideration the people who have been displaced in Queensland. The flooding is just, I've never seen anything like it before. Floods of up to 14.5 meters high, like entire houses submerged. So a lot of families have lost everything, and there are of course a lot of vulnerable people who have been at risk. So it's been very upsetting seeing that news, and of course what is currently happening in the Ukraine right now, which is just utterly heartbreaking. I'm probably not alone in spending every spare moment that I have just with my eyes glued to the news, my ear on the radio, reading news, basically absorbing everything that I can with what's going on. So I think if you are in a position to help, or perhaps you want to help but you just don't know where or how to do so, I will leave some information down in the description box below for resources where you can donate money or perhaps donate items for families who are in need. I really just wanted to share those things first before I talk about anything else in this video, because that is so much more important than what has been going on with my budget. Now, I will kind of share what I spent this month, what I bought and returned actually, and also how I thought I would spend my budget. I'm also going to talk a little bit about the collector mentality, which is something I've sort of reflected on a little bit this month. I have decided I'm going to change the format for YouTube ever so slightly. I'm not going to talk through things that aren't part of my low buy budget, because I think that in itself was confusing. And additionally, I'm just going to talk through gifted items on my blog, so it'll be very clearly defined what I received in PR or as a gifted product as part of work that I might have done with a brand. There were only 3 brands which I received gifting from in February, very few items. I didn't do any paid partnerships as I was very busy with work, so that it also allowed me to really limit the number of items that were coming into my life. So let's kind of talk about how I spent my budget this month first. I think we'll start with the juicy stuff. I have to say, I kind of thought the way I was going to spend my budget would be very different to how I ended up spending my budget at the end of the month. I do actually have some money left over, so I didn't spend it all, and I think what I'm going to do with that, I had thought I could carry on to next month, but instead I'm actually just going to donate that money and just add that to my donations this month. And one thing someone said in the comments, which I really liked, is that they have a line in their budget for giving to perhaps spend on treating someone that you love, or to donate to good causes, organizations in need. And I thought that that was really cool, and it's definitely something I'm going to include in my overall budget moving forward, because I really like that idea. So thank you so much for suggesting that. So I started off the month thinking that one of the items I was going to spend my budget on would be a pair of earrings. One thing I've really been craving recently is a newness or freshness, and for me, I've been wearing a lot of fine jewelry over the last few years, so switching that up and wearing something that is more of a statement, that is a bolder, louder piece, definitely falls into that category of adding something new while still being true to my personal style. And I've really noticed that over the years it sort of fluctuates. Sometimes I want something that's really dramatic and loud, especially earrings, that's kind of my thing, and then other times I want something that's a little bit quieter and that is more subdued, like the earrings I'm wearing today. So initially, I had thought about getting the Acne Studios knot earrings. My friend Helen, who has a YouTube channel, I'm going to link it down below, she does some incredible videos, she has these in the white, and I was really drawn to them, especially when I saw them on her, and they're on sale. So I kind of added it to my list as a maybe, but I messaged her first and I asked her what she thought of them, and she said that she loves them, but they are a little bit on the heavy side. And to me, that immediately made me remove them from my wish list. I had zero desire to get them after that, because I just don't do well with heavy earrings. I know I wouldn't wear them. It would be wasted budget for me, and I really wanted to buy a pair of earrings I would wear and love. So I found another pair of earrings which I really like, and I'm probably going to butcher the name of this brand. It's Sunny, S-U-N-N-E-I. They're essentially a hoop earring which is enamel and then it's dipped in gold, and I felt like this was enough of a statement but still felt very classic and timeless at the same time, something that I would sort of see myself reaching for a lot, the nude color being very complementary to my existing color palette in my wardrobe. Now the other item that I was thinking about potentially spending my budget on for the month of February was a skirt from Lee Matthews. If you're familiar with the brand, then you'll probably recognize the skirt. I'm going to put a photo on screen. It is one of her silk skirts with the elasticated waistband and then the raw edged hem, and it is a really good classic. I love a silk skirt, particularly in the transitional months which we're heading towards, so I thought it would be a really great addition to my closet. I decided I wanted to go down the pre-loved route for this particular piece, and I found one in the navy, which I think is such a classic, on eBay. However, someone else beat me to it. They chose to buy it now instead of waiting for the auction to run its course, so that's a piece that I'm continuing to keep my eye on. Now what actually ended up happening shortly after this was that I received an email notification that Mytheresa had an extra 30% off all of their sale items, and I thought I would have a little quick browse to see if something I wanted on the website was on sale. I actually have a wish list, a running wish list. It has very specific items, more vague items, and then it has a list of designers that I would like to potentially buy from or just have on my radar for the year. And one of the items on that list was a pair of whip stitch shoes from Jil Sander. I don't often buy designer shoes, especially not brand new. Usually I'll wait and I will buy them pre-loved, or I will keep an eye out for the sales to see if I can snap them up for a really good price, just because I think there are so many good brands that offer much more reasonably priced shoes which are exceptionally high quality, and you'll have heard me talk about them time and time again, so I'm not going to harp on about that too much now. But I got really lucky, and a pair of the nude whip stitch pumps were included in the sale in my size. The price was incredibly good. I knew that even on the pre-loved market I'd probably never find them at that price, so I decided to give it a go. Now I bought them knowing that they might not be the shoes for me. If I'm being completely honest with myself, they're probably a little bit too cool for me, but I wanted to try them out and try them on in my own home, try them on with how I would potentially style them and see if they would work for me. And this really allowed me to do that because I wasn't aware of any stores in Sydney which actually had these shoes available. And yeah, so they arrived, they are beautiful, the leather is so soft, really comfortable. Even with the heel height, they were really comfortable, but they did me no favors. They really only worked with a certain type of outfit, in my opinion, at least for my personal style. And ultimately I just felt like they weren't the right ones for me, so I sent them back. But yeah, for me it was the triangular vamp, the bracelet effect adornment around the ankle, and also the squared off toe. The three combination just weren't my friend, so those got returned. Around the same time that I returned the shoes to Mytheresa, I got an email from Scanlan and Theodore letting me know that their end of season sale was on. I've actually had a pair of trousers from the brand on my wish list since June of last year, just kind of hoping that they might go on sale because I felt like they were quite expensive full price, and I was so thrilled to see that they actually were included as part of the sale, and they were at a price that I felt a lot more comfortable paying, as it is a bit more of a premium priced brand in my opinion. So the trousers in question are these lovely dark charcoal wool blend trousers. They've got sort of a slim straight fit through the leg, very high-waisted. The quality of them is really nice. It's a very thick fabric, so they're going to be perfect as we go into the autumn winter months. They are slightly similar to a pair that I've got from H&M, which I love, and I will still be wearing those this year. But these ones are thicker, they're heavier weight, and they have a slightly slimmer silhouette, so they give your outfit a very different look. And additionally, they are ever so slightly longer through the leg as well, because I haven't taken them up, and I don't think I will. I think I might just use some garment tape if I want to wear them a little bit shorter. So That was the first purchase I made. I did buy them in the 6 as I find the brand runs a little bit on the larger side, and the waistband measurement is 67 centimeters, so they actually fit like a true size 8 in my opinion, my experience. The other item that I purchased, this I wouldn't necessarily class it as an impulse buy, but definitely a little bit more impulsive than my purchases usually are. On my wish list, another item that I had was a pair of nylon joggers from Tibi. I've been wanting to add these to my wardrobe for a long time, the paper bag joggers. Again, I'll put a photo on the screen. Just wasn't sure whether the black or the white would be a better option for me. One of the reasons why I wanted to make this purchase is that I wanted to add in a slightly different texture to my closet. I think it has a bit more of a sportier, casual feel to it, and I also thought very, very practical with a toddler who quite often has very grubby fingers. Now, I was meeting one of my girlfriends for lunch and I decided to pop into the Camilla and Mark outlet in Rosebery. I don't very often go in there, and I was having a little look around and I actually spotted that they had a pair of nylon trousers. These were much more affordable than the Tibi ones and also in a really classic color, and I decided to go for it. I really love the way that they looked on me actually. They're called the Talia trouser. They're this navy nylon with elasticated waistband, and then they are almost kind of like balloon shaped through the leg, and then they're very kind of tapered fit, so they cut off exactly where I like. They're really lightweight, very, very comfortable, and I thought would be perfect, again, just for our transitional months here and also to wear into the late spring, early summer for Sydney, where it does get quite warm and you want to be wearing a fabric that is ever so slightly lighter. These I got my true size, which is an A8. I did buy them from the outlet, which means that they're not current season, and I couldn't see them online, so I will link the current iteration of this style down in the description box, along with any other sort of similar pants. But very thrilled with them, and I love a good navy piece. I think it is a really good alternative to wearing something that is black, especially if you are fairer, because it will create less contrast. So I started the month thinking that I was going to buy a pair of earrings and a new skirt, and ended the month with 2 new pairs of trousers. I'm very happy with what I purchased though, and I think they're going to be great staples for my closet moving forward. And as I said, with the budget that I have left over, I am going to donate that this month. Now I wanted to talk about some of the things that have been giving me joy this month. So first of all, I finished listening to Shantaram. As you recall, last month I mentioned that I was listening to it on Audible. It is truly an epic. It is so long, but I really, really loved it. I think that Gregory David Roberts is an excellent storyteller. He definitely has a way of describing things that make you able to visualize it in quite a vivid way. I didn't realize when I first started reading the book that it was based on aspects of his life that are true, but also included fictional elements too. And that was something I started to kind of have ticking in the back of my head, like, hang on a minute, this all doesn't sound right, but halfway through the book. And so I did a little bit of research and found that out, but very, very much worth a read. Next on my book list is Pachinko, which I have purchased with one of my credits on Audible, so I haven't started listening to it yet, but hoping to do so this week. I also played my Nintendo Switch a lot. I got through Pokemon Arceus in the month of February, which was really fun, and my brother is also really into Pokemon, so we quite often text about what we're doing in the game, which is kind of a nice way to connect with him. So that was one of the other things, and also I found myself sort of indulging in a little bit more TV, which I haven't really done a lot because when I was working in television, I spent all day watching TV. I'd watch 8 hours of TV at work, and then I just had zero inclination to come home and watch a TV series, because I just felt like I had exposed myself to enough television during the day. So it's kind of been nice to indulge in that a little bit. I am currently watching Wheel of Time on Amazon Prime. Now, I wanted to also kind of touch a little bit on grief, because as you'll know, I have said that January and February are months that are typically very, very challenging for me. It was the 7-year anniversary of my mum's passing this month, in the middle of the month, and I feel like for me, it really hit harder than it has in previous months because I wasn't distracting myself from anything. I allowed myself to kind of feel that grief fully, and I reflected on a lot of things. I think when you lose someone and so suddenly, there's a lot of stuff you wish that you could have done differently, whether it was in that moment or even in the years prior. And that's sort of something that was playing on my mind a lot this year. So I think I probably spent a lot more time grieving and crying than I normally would, but I think that's really healthy to do so. And I definitely shared a lot of stories with loved ones who knew my mum really well. So yes, that was I suppose a big part of the month as well. Now, I kind of wanted to round out this video by something that I'm coining the collector mentality. I don't know if this is actually a phrase, a common saying or not, but this is just how I'm referring to it. And essentially, this was really a reflection of how I approach adding new things into my life and how I've done so over the years. And what I realized is that ever since I was a child, I have been what I would call a collector. I wouldn't say I'm a hoarder, but I like to collect things. At one point, I was collecting The Littlest Family. If you are familiar with this toy, then you will know, like, there were so many sets, and I think I had almost every single one. At one point, I collected crystals, I collected comic books. I had to have every single one in sequential order from the very beginning, and I also kept them in pristine condition. I still have them in a box. I haven't let them go. I collected anime dolls, I collected manga, I collected JRPGs for PlayStation. This was really something that I did throughout my childhood, and then it expanded into fashion, and I found myself collecting items from brands from seasons that I absolutely adored, but that either weren't a style that suited me or my body shape, weren't colours or prints that I particularly enjoyed wearing, but were things that I felt I would keep to have a personal archive of this brand that I adored. Karen Walker and Lover being the two main suspects. And I kind of reflected on that, and I realized, you know, I had all these items that I was collecting for the sake of collecting them, almost to create a museum that I wasn't wearing, and they were kind of getting in the way of all of the items that I was wearing. And I'm sure I'm not alone in this. I know that there are people who like to collect books, who like to collect stamps, coins, could be anything. No judgment here, we all have our thing. Right now mine seems to be knitwear and shoes. So it was really a big aha moment for me when I picked up on this commonality which has been a running thread since my childhood, and it has me kind of reflecting on, is this a learned behavior? My mum, she always had a very, very healthy wardrobe. Clothing was probably the thing that she liked to collect. At the time that she passed, she had 3 closets in my childhood home, plus 2 full racks underneath the eaves in the storage, plus a full wardrobe in Greece as well. And yeah, I sort of wonder, and she could never let any of it go. I had tried many times to try and help her declutter some of her things, but she couldn't let anything go. And she did wear it all, but it might take her a long time to cycle through quite a bit of it. But I sort of wonder if it was something I learned from my mum. Then I also think back to my grandparents. You know, they were in Greece during World War II and also during the Communist War, and so they endured and suffered a lot during that time. And they are the type of people who hang on to everything. You know, they've got mouse-eaten comics that my uncle used to read when he was a kid, and he's in his 60s now. So I wonder if this is something that I learned from my mum and my grandparents, who were, you know, really big role models for me as a child, or if it comes from somewhere else, if it's a security blanket, if it is something else, I'm not sure. But I know at my age now, trying to change any habits like that are heavily ingrained into who we are, or at least how we behave, is very, very challenging. So I'm not going to try and set myself up for failure, but it is very interesting to be aware of that and to realize that that is part of who I am. And I've said this before, I'm not a minimalist. I definitely tried to minimize things in my life, and I quickly realized that that was never going to be who I was, but I definitely have taken a lot of learnings away from this, that's for sure. But that was all that I had to share today, and if you're doing your own low buy or no buy, I hope that has been going really well, and also wishing you the best of luck for this month. Please share your updates down in the comments below so that we can all give each other moral support as we continue on in this journey. But yeah, thank you so much for watching, for spending some of your day with me, and as I shared at the start of this video, if you would like to give or donate in any way to either those who are being affected in the Ukraine by the current situation there, or those who are being affected by the flooding in New South Wales and Queensland, then I will have all those links in the description box. I will see you next weekend with a brand new video. Thank you so much for watching and see you soon. Bye.